Summer is over, but what does this shift into fall mean for the real estate market in the Salida, Colorado area? Well, in this video, I'm going to be going over the August 2025 housing market statistics for Chaffee County, Colorado, which includes Salida and Buena Vista, Colorado, the largest towns in the county. And you're going to want to stick around until the end because I not only tell you the median sales price for homes in this area, it went down by the way, but I also give you some really good tips for home buyers who are looking to purchase in the upcoming months. If this is your first time to the channel, welcome. This channel is all about living in the Salida, Colorado area and the real estate market here. So if that interests you, please be sure and subscribe and hit the bell for notifications so you're the first to know when new informative videos become available. My name is Monica McCarthy and I'm a realtor that specializes in Salida and surrounding areas. And I get calls all the time from people just like you looking to move here. So whether you're thinking of moving here in a few weeks or a few months, please reach out to me. All of my contact information is below and I'd be happy to schedule a time to chat and help you make a smooth transition to the Salida, Colorado area. Okay, so let's talk about the Chaffee County, Colorado housing market statistics for August 2025. And like I said, Chaffee County includes Salida and Buena Vista, Colorado. To summarize for you, our home inventory and our buyer demand went down somewhat and our prices went down as well. But stick with me, I'm gonna give you more details on all of that. Okay, home inventory first. Home inventory has been at an all-time high all over the United States this year, and Salida has been no different. This August, however, we saw a slight break in the increasing home inventory. Sellers brought 57 new listings to the market this month, which was 31% less than last month, but still 6% more than last year. So we're still trending higher than last year. And we ended the month with 299 active listings and 25 weeks of home inventory, which is much less than the 40 weeks of inventory we had last month, which is quite high. Okay, now buyer demand. The increase in homes that went under contract last month resulted in an increase in homes sold. We had 51 closed listings, which was much more than 34 we had in July. However, there were only 51 pending listings, which means properties that went under contract, which was fewer than last month's 69, which shows that buyers actually bought fewer homes this past month. And our days on the market went up as well, indicating that it took longer for homes to go under contract. The median number of days a home was on the market before going under contract increased to 53 days this past August, which is more than 38 in July and 16 in June. And that's 10 more days than we had August of 2024. So our days on the market for this time of year is actually quite high. However, it is a little unique that our days on the market went up so much this early in the year. So it's typical for our days on the market to increase as we progress towards the end of the year. However, it was a bit early for our days on the market to go up quite so much this early in the year. And so one reason for that is likely our increase in home inventory. Because buyers had significantly more homes to choose from, many of those homes ended up sitting on the market a lot longer than normal. Okay, now to price. The median sales price of a home in Chaffee County, Colorado this past August 2025 was $625,000, which is 16% less than last month and 15% less than last year. Now, we haven't seen a median sales price this low in a while, so it's certainly a welcoming sign for home buyers to see that our home prices are finally going down some. Looking at towns individually, Salida had a median close price of $599,000, which is 26% less than last year, while Buena Vista was $644,293, which is 10% less than last year. Now keep in mind that, I like to say this every time, but keep in mind that our market is quite small. Salida, for example, there were only 17 homes that closed this past month, while in Buena Vista there were only 19. So obviously of that small number, those were at lower price points, so that number can drastically change depending on the price point of homes that close. But overall, it was a welcome sign to see some lower price points this past month. And the last data point I'm going to go over with is percent of list price received, which gives you a good indicator of how much buyers have for negotiation leverage, meaning how much less than list price they can tend to get. This August, the percent of list price received was 96.8%, which is slightly lower than last month's 97.3%, bringing our year-to-date percent of list price received at 97.4%. So this shows that homes are continuing to sell for less than their listed price, not considerably, but that number has gone down some from recent months. So that means homes are selling for less than their listed price, which means if you're a buyer, you do have some leverage. So what does this mean for home buyers in today's market? Like I said, the first thing to consider is that you do have good leverage. Like I mentioned, percent of list price received just now. However, another thing to consider is we are shifting into the fall. So many sellers, particularly those who have had their homes on the market since spring or early summer, they often want to sell by the holidays, by winter. And so homes that have been sitting on the market for a few months tend to have motivated sellers. That's not always the case, but if you work with a good realtor who can help you inquire on that, then you can often find out that the seller is motivated to sell. And sometimes those sellers started out with a really high price point and have had multiple price reductions, which can also indicate that they do want to sell before the holidays. I've spoken to a lot of realtors recently who have clients that are in this scenario. So you do have leverage as a buyer, particularly for homes that have been on the market for several months. Another thing to consider as a buyer right now is you do have more time. Like I said, our days on the market have continued to increase, and I predict that that will continue to be the case, that we'll start to see even higher numbers of days on the market. So as a buyer, you do have some time to make some decisions that are best for you. I will say that that's not always the case. And so in our market, while many homes are sitting for a while, we do still get the occasional home that's well priced and very attractive and can go quicker. So it does matter to have a pulse on the market and work with a realtor that can help you identify that distinction, if that's going to be a property that you need to see right away and act quickly on, or if you can wait a bit longer. But for the most part, you do have more time as a buyer. And another thing to consider as a buyer is that mortgage interest rates are continuing to go down finally, and there's talk of that continuing. It's something that we've been talking about pretty much all year, but there is serious consideration for rates to go down in Q4. So as a buyer, that is a good time to purchase a property now that our rates are becoming more favorable. So depending on your financial situation, that change in rates can matter quite a bit on what you can afford. And so that actually leads me into telling you that you do need to get pre-approved before you even start looking at homes. This helps you not only know what you can afford, but also helps you just be in a position to act quickly if you do find the right home. And then also just to have a good expectation for yourself, so you're not looking at a price point that doesn't work for you, or even looking at all if it doesn't work for you. Sometimes you might have something that needs to be taken care of on your credit or with your finances before you can purchase. So it's best to figure that out before you start seriously looking at homes. So the best thing to do is to get pre-approved now and start working with a realtor that can help you look at homes in your criteria and in your price point, and then start showing them to you, and then you can make some good decisions based off of that. If you have any questions about living in the Salida, Colorado area or the real estate market here, please reach out to me. All of my contact information is below. Either way, I really appreciate your time. Thanks for watching and have a wonderful day.